I'd like to introduce, it's interesting how people become friends in short periods of time. We started talking about a year after your son died. And I guess it was a couple of months, I guess it was about June or so, that I got a call from Jeanette Smith. And she called to tell me that her son Jimmy had died from huffing recently, only a week after his 17th birthday. She told me an extraordinary story about a very extraordinary young man. We've talked every now and again over the last several months since she first called. And we started talking again, I guess, over Christmas time. And they said they were ready. They wanted to talk out. They wanted to speak out, and they wanted to teach other people to learn from their experience so this type of thing is not repeated. I'd like to introduce you to Jim and Jeanette Smith.
This is Jimmy. He was our first child, born May 11th, 1987. He was a student and an employee of the Avon Lake High School in Ohio. We are the last to talk because this is where it ends. This is what ignorance gets you. Can you hold this for me, please? This is a shirt that was Jimmy's. It was his favorite. A very dear friend of his bought it for him for his birthday, only 5 days prior to his death. This is what they cut off of his lifeless body the night that we found him. Yesterday it was 10 months to the day. It's still a little hard to breathe. He died from inhaling butane. He didn't know it could kill him, and we didn't know he was huffing. I'm here today in hopes that we'll get assistance in educating parents and children so that these senseless deaths will end. Please make a commitment today to make a difference, to teach our kids and parents respect for life. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all of you for being here. It shows that you have an interest. And I'd like to thank Harvey for asking us to come tell our story. And I would like to thank Terry Nisley and Barb Towner from the Pathway Family Center, because it's their commitment to providing long-term treatment that assures us and assures Jesse's mother that she will be on the road to recovery and to go forward, because I know to be a mother and to have a child in this situation, it's got to be a pretty fearful situation. So I thank you for your commitment to long-term treatment. I think that's very important. About 2 weeks ago, I had the unfortunate experience to walk into my mother's house, and the TV was on, and there was a 9/11 call was being played. Now, 911, for most of you that don't know, in Cuyahoga County in Ohio, that's an emergency phone call that you make. And the mother was talking that she had just found her son, and she was speaking of a boy who died in Painesville, Ohio, that this was just a couple weeks ago. And that experience, as I walked in, immediately I heard the 911, and the mother was saying, I believe he's dead, I think he's dead. And that took me back to a time of 10 months ago when I had the unfortunate experience of, we were coming back from a funeral showing, and we were separated, and I asked my son, I said, call your mother and tell her we're going to be about 10 minutes late. And he immediately came back to me, and he had a very strange look on his face, and he said, Dad, something's wrong. Joey's crying. He says, something looks wrong with Jimmy. And I immediately jumped in the car with my father. And as soon as we pulled into the driveway, I seen that the garage door was open. And I had a sight that I'll never forget. And that was my wife trying to breathe into my son's lifeless body. And that's something that you wouldn't want any parent to ever have to go through. It cuts through you like a knife. And that's part of why we're here to speak out, to make sure that there's awareness to that. We had with the help of some family friends, we had a coin that was made, and it says, "In loving memory of Jimmy." And on the back it has some of the things that he was interested in. He was a lector at the church, he was in the band, he was with Christian youth group, and he had made up a saying, God's time, and we put God's time on the back of the coin. And we gave this to many of the children who knew Jimmy and who we in fact love and that we care about and are concerned about. And today we'd like to give this coin to Jessie because two reasons. Number one, we do love her. And number two, in some small way, I hope that on her road to recovery, that when she looks at that and she shows her friends, that they will know you never want to end up on a coin like this. I love you. Thank you.